Hi, my name is Barry Sterling Mitchell. I produce the Sterling Pro Football Net Point Power Rankings. Damn, that's a mouthful, isn't it? And the Pro Football Bias Plus reports. I just got pro football all in it now, Benny. What can I tell you?
That's cool. That's what it is, bro. That's what it is.
I wondered if people knew, and I said, hey, the Bias Plus reports, if they had any clue, it was about football at one point. So, anywho, this is Ben and Barry on football.
Thank you after that long, illustrious introduction. This is Ben Dickerson. I'm your co-host. I'm going to be recapping week 7, along with going into the power rankings. I think I have some notes here in reference to the NFL Network power rankings, so we can do a little quick comparison, at least with the top 10. And we'll talk about the Bias Plus reports as well. So let's get it going.
Okay, you're up first. Here we go. So let's start out, Ben, with the symmetry. I love the symmetry of the graph here. And looking at the actual net points. Again, this is win margin. And you kind of see 1st through 32 who the teams are. Last place are the New York Jets. First place, the Buffalo Bills still. Okay. And right in the middle at 0 net points is the Carolina Panthers. So Carolina is breaking. Well, I guess they're breaking even. I guess that's what you call that right now.
I guess you could call it that.
You know what I'm saying? You can see the teams that are on the negative side. I was surprised to see the Chargers there. I know the Chargers had that surprise loss, but I didn't think that they were on the negative side. Seattle, you just talked about them. Kansas City, surprisingly, I understand my Niners. Pittsburgh shouldn't be there. Philly, your Giants are moving up. We're going to see what happens with them. But yeah, you've got Atlanta, Chicago. The other teams that are down there are not really surprises that they're there. We kind of seen these things happen. On the positive side, your top 5 include, again, Buffalo, Arizona, Tampa Bay, Dallas, and the Rams. So there are your top 5 in net points. Let's move on and look at one of the stats that we track very closely, and that's turnover differential. First place and again, we're looking at averages because the bye weeks have kicked in, so we want to make sure everybody is on an even level playing field there, or rating field. Buffalo's coming in first at 1.8. Behind them, the Colts 1.3, probably helped by my Niners. Dallas 1.2, Arizona 1.1, and Tampa Bay at an even 1 rounds out the top 5. Right behind them in a 3-way tie, the Rams, the Packers, and the Saints at 0.7. Vegas is coming in at 0.6, and number 10 is the Chargers at 0.5. So turnovers equate to opportunity to score points, and that's pretty much what this is about. Probably the biggest surprise is number 31 there. Benny, you see what team that is?
I'm not surprised.
But you know something? I saw a retrospective on him on Pat Mahomes, and at least 3 passes of his were off of players' hands.
I don't want to hear that.
Facts.
Don't make excuses.
Facts is facts.
9 interceptions.
It's not an excuse. I'm just saying it's interesting because his players rarely drop balls like that. That's sort of an unusual thing.
Okay, take the 3 out. So he's got 6 interceptions. I don't care.
Okay, you don't, but I think it's an interesting point that that are they that they're just slightly out of sync, as a team. We'll see if they're able to sync up. But it's getting cold now, and it's getting to the point where your run game is going to have to start to show itself. So
it's a point, but I don't think it's an interesting point in so much as the him and the receivers being out of sync. It's him. He's out of sync. All those off-platform throws, all those run this way and throw back across your body, all those left-handed, all those no looks, they're coming back to bite him now. They're coming back to bite him now. And let's face it, some of those throws, the receivers bailed him out on too. And I would say it'd be more than the number 3 that were blaming 3 of their guys for letting go that go on his interception resume. These guys, and on top of that, their run game is lacking. And Andy Reid doesn't really run the ball that much anyway. But they don't have a stout run game to begin with. But the bottom line is the defense, pure, straight up stinks. And Mahomes is getting sloppy with the ball. He's turning the ball over. He doesn't look right. He's not over the yips in the pocket. He still breaks the pocket too soon. And I blame it all on the Madden curse.
I was wondering why you were going on so much. All right, the Madden curse. Hey, look here. 13, 14, and 15 tied at 0 includes your New York Giants. So they're breaking even in turnover differential.
That's right, because Danny Dimes not turning it over anymore.
Oh, man, look at that. Look at that. Look
exactly what we wanted.
I'm telling you. All right, let's go to the next. Average points against. Oh, man. So if you go by points, which we do, your number 1 defense is the Arizona Cardinals. Now, if you go by yards, which the NFL does, let me see here. Your number 1 defense would be, let's see, the Buffalo Bills. So they actually tied net average points against with the Arizona Cardinals at 16.3. There's your New Orleans Saints, man, 16.8 right there, number 3, carrying the 3rd place. So they're not that bad. Denver, 18.1, 4th place, and 5th place. The Bengals, 18.3. So there's your top 5. On the low side, again, Kansas City coming in at 28. So their defense is abysmal. It's tied, however, with Houston. It's 1 step above the Jets, Atlanta, Miami, and Washington. Hey, there's Washington.
Tough when Jacksonville and Houston are ahead of you.
Look how close the Philadelphia Eagles and the New York Giants are in points against. Man, 0.3 points separating those teams there. So
I would venture to guess that one team is moving up and one team is moving down.
We shall see how that works out. All right, so just wanted to share with that with everyone. Anything particular on points against you want to point out?
Not really. Buffalo coming off of a tough loss there a week ago is still sitting at number 2, which shows you how good they really are. New Orleans is really, really tough against the run. So if you don't have a good pass game, it's going to be hard to score points on them. So they've had some low scoring games. I don't know if they're going to be able to sustain that, seeing as how their offense isn't very dynamic. I'd have to look at their schedule. Denver's going to be falling like a rock pretty soon, and Cincinnati will be rising. Cincinnati could possibly be sitting at 3 or 4 come this time next week. I really like the Bengals.
Well, I mentioned couple weeks ago, it seems as if 28 points is the magic number. And as I'm looking at this points against, I'm realizing that if you can average 28 points a game, you would be beating 24 out of 32 teams who are averaging, and points against. That's what they're normally giving up. So you'd be outscoring those teams. Let's look at the offense. Here you go. Points for Dallas, number 1. Got your work cut out for you, Mr. Giants. Got your work cut out for you.
Bro, I'm not, I just want to win a few games, man, and have a good draft. That's all. Okay. I'm not, you talk to the Eagles fans about that stuff. Oh, Dallas sucks. They're in first place. Yeah, I know, but they still suck. No, I don't do that.
I just go right by them now. I don't have time.
I mean,
Buffalo, number 2.
Yeah, that's going to change. Buffalo just took a little drop there. They'll be back up top. And okay. Tampa Bay's going right up with them. And so is Arizona going right up with them. And so is the Rams going right up with them. Dallas is going to be hard pressed to stay up in there. I don't know if that can keep this thing going, but we'll soon find out. They're coming off the bye. We'll soon find out.
Tennessee's coming in 5th, like you said, 27.6 points per game, and Cincinnati at an even 27 rounds out number 7. Kansas City, now again, as abysmal as their defense is, and as much as we are berating Patrick Mahomes, they are 8th, so they're in the top quarter in terms of scoring at 26.9 points per game, just a smidge ahead of Baltimore, Vegas, New England. Well, see, I'm wondering now if we have to consider New England as having a skewed number.
Why? Because of one blowout?
Well, that's the skew. That's it. When you have a really big blowout like that, if you're not doing that to everybody, then it's an abnormal type.
Nobody's doing that to everybody.
Hey, but again, that's what happened. When you go out and you start averaging it out and you're looking at matchups, it kind of throws you off because you're like, okay, your net points look so great, but when we look at the two teams, it doesn't seem like you're that much better of a team that you're going to play. So that's the thing to keep an eye out on when you have those big blowouts and we're looking at these numbers. Anything you see in these numbers that you're
I was just going to say, I know how the skew works and how it can mess things up. I just think that they're in 11th place and being rewarded for a total beatdown of a team that they're supposed to totally beat down. That they've been pretty well coached and well schemed up for at least the last 3 or 4 games, and even the ones that they lost, they gave their opponent problems. So Mac Jones is far better than a lot of people suspected he would be. And they're beginning to really build that offense around him. Like I said, Damian Harris is not dead yet. They got the guy with the long, funny name, DeAndre Stevens or something like that. They've got a nice little running game, and they've got competent receivers. Jacoby Myers, Aguilar, even N'Keal Harry caught a doggone pass. And I thought they were going to cut that guy. Look, Josh McDaniel, the offensive coordinator for the Patriots, you hear the word genius thrown around a lot with these guys like the Rams head coach and what have you. Josh McDaniels is a genius. He just doesn't have the temperament to be a head coach. If he stays with the Patriots and stays as long as Belichick stays, that's the best thing he can possibly do for his career. Josh McDaniels is a miracle worker. Josh McDaniels built and maintained Tom Brady. I don't care what anybody says. Josh McDaniels built and maintained Tom Brady, and he's doing the same thing for Mac Jones.
So tell me, do you like Josh McDaniels?
I love Josh McDaniel.
All right.
In case you couldn't figure that out.
Couldn't figure that out. Well, maybe we can get Justin Fields to check out Mac Jones and learn how to throw a quick drop back pass.
It's not that he doesn't know. All right, I'm not going to.
Yeah, that's.
I don't care. Listen, let me tell you something. I don't care. What's causing that disparity between the numbers. I don't think disparity is a real word, but
I like the word though.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. I don't care what's causing it.
Why does that sound like one of the old Daffy Duck type words? Disparity.
Get it out with the disparity. I don't care what's causing it. It's too glaring to be ignored. It's too glaring to be ignored. And they're ignoring it.
You sound like one of them bullying analytics people. We're going to talk about this later. We're going to continue to talk about that. But then we got to go to the most important ranking. Net points. Again, ladies and germs, net points, the difference between points for and points against. That difference, that is your win margin. That's the teams who are putting the foot on the other teams. You want to know who the bully is? Let's look at the top three. Buffalo, Arizona, Tampa Bay, as far as points is concerned. Now, of course, when I think bully, I'm thinking Tennessee, but that's a whole nother scenario. That's on a personal level with the King Henry. But long story short, in terms of scoring, those are your big three right there. All double digits on average. You know, Buffalo winning on average close to 18. That means they're beating teams by close to 18 points per game. Arizona, we know, has been prolific in terms of their scoring. And of course, Tampa Bay with Tom Brady, just, you know, analytical and efficient, getting it done. Here comes Dallas at 9.8 points per game. Now, again, that abysmal defense that you talked about with Kansas City, we talked about last year with Dallas. If I remember correctly, and I'm going to go back 1, 2, where did Dallas fall? 20th. So they're still on the lower half, but they're not 32nd or 31st like they were last year. Cincinnati, a team to really, really keep an eye on right there. And so, yeah, you got a few different things going on there. But New England at 5.6 average net points per game, coming in, rounding off the top quarter, the top 8. So those are, we always consider the top 8 the ones that you have to keep an eye on in terms of being contenders for the playoffs. It's still a little early, still first half of the season. We'll see. You got Tennessee moving up, Baltimore questionable, Green Bay. Hey, we're going to talk about the Green Bay matchup, man. COVID's affecting Green Bay. The Colts, the Raiders, the Broncos, Vikings, Cleveland, all on the positive side. And as I said before, Carolina at 0 breaks even at ranking number 17. Other than that, the rest of the teams are all in the negative for a very good reason. So I kick it over to you, Mr. Dickerson. Any last points you want to make on the Sterling Pro Football net point power rankings?
No, the main thing, well, yes. The main thing is I do believe in the net point power rankings because they're based on the numbers and the numbers are important. The only problem, and it's not really a problem per se, but the only problem with the numbers is if you want to talk about a New England skew, this is where it comes into play. As I look at the top 10 here in the net point power rankings, and then I look at the top 10 as laid out by NFL Network just this morning, it is eerily similar, except for a couple of instances, and anybody who's been watching the games and watching the teams can easily figure out why that is. First of all, the top 3, Buffalo, Arizona, Tampa Bay. NFL Network has Arizona, Tampa Bay, Buffalo. Okay. Number 4, Dallas Cowboys.
And let me quickly say, Arizona is the only undefeated team.
Yes.
So I give them that due.
And that's why NFL Network has them as number 1, because they use opinion and conjecture. So they have to put an undefeated team
number one. That's right.
Absolutely. Number 4 on both rankings is the Cowboys. Number 5 on both rankings is the Rams. Number 6, the power rankings, the net point power rankings have Cincinnati.
I have 2 5s there by accident, but Cincinnati is 6.
That's okay. I can't see anyway, so I just assumed it was 6. Cincinnati at 6. NFL Network has Cincinnati at 7, and the Packers at 6. We have the Packers out of the top 10. Ooh, it may turn out to be that way with this COVID thing coming up in this week's games, but we shall see. But that's how close everybody is. They have the Bengals at 7. We have the Bengals at 6. At 7, we have the New Orleans Saints there. The NFL Network doesn't have the Saints in the top 10 at all. Neither do they have the New England Patriots in the top 10. So there's your couple of skews, and we talked about them before we even got to this, okay? We have Tennessee at 9 and the Ravens at 10. NFL Network has Bengals at 7, Ravens at 8, Titans at 10, and they squeeze the Chargers in there at 9, and our rankings don't have the Chargers in the top 10. It is so close. So close. And if you look at the differences, it's easy to explain. So the numbers don't lie, bro. Numbers don't lie. They can make you look around, but they don't lie.
Well, and again, thanks for that. That's very interesting. I mean, this is the one thing, like we say when we talk about no opinion, no conjecture. We didn't put those teams in those positions. They put themselves in those positions. We didn't rank New England at 8. New England ranked itself at 8 with the lopsided, bully ball that they played on the Jets.
Right, because
they said that they beat the teams that they're supposed to beat. That struck me as strange because these are 2 rookie quarterbacks on leading these 2 teams that were playing each other. We do understand one also was a rookie coach and the other was the coach of all time. All right, Ben, so let's take a quick look back. Again, the Sterling Pro Football Net Point Power Rankings. Oh, let me mention, I did a little extra in terms of net points. And, you got Buffalo, Arizona, and Tampa Bay in your top 3, right? Over the last 3 games, all right, Buffalo and Arizona both just a tad over 18 points per game, winning margins. Tampa Bay, 23. Okay, so they got some velocity in terms of scoring some points in those last few games.
You said winning margins?
Average net points over the last 3 games.
Got you.
Now, for Buffalo, that 18.3 over the last 3 includes a -3 because they just lost the game.
Right.
So that means that the other 2 games, they had some strong scoring going on. And one last thing I'll say, Arizona is winning away games by 19.2 points per game. That is a league best average winning margin for away games.
Great.
So there when you start to look at your spreads and your thises and your that's, Arizona don't shiver and they don't shake. They about that business, man. So fantastic. All right, that wraps up the Sterling Pro Football Net Point Power Rankings.